This is a quick video on overcoming objections when selling commercial cleaning services, janitorial services, commercial carpet and tile. And what we're going to go over today is overcoming objections. And we're going to cover three main categories: the different types of closes, how we feel about these objections and how we should be thinking about them, and then a process for handling those objections, because you're going to get them. And people, no matter how often that you submit proposals, you're going to get a certain percentage of objections, and it's actually not a bad thing. A lot of times it's actually a good thing, because it tells us why, what's going on, what's in their mind. That's one of the hardest things when submitting a proposal, is people can keep things close to the vest and not tell you what they're really thinking. And that's why it's actually a good thing to hear objections, because now we have an insight into what's the bottleneck, what's holding them up. My name is Shane Dubell, and our company is methodcleanbiz.com. You can visit our website, and we have tons of free resources, and maybe you'll even be interested in one of our services. So to get started, we're going to start in the beginning. Closing is one of the most difficult things that new business owners and new salespeople can deal with. And big thing that I can tell you is I've been in this industry for 30 years. When I first started, everything, all the information was about sales information, sales closing, and overcoming objections. But over my career, it actually switched the other way, and people almost never talk about sales topics. It's all marketing now, and a lot of it is digital marketing. It's getting the leads. It's generating those leads. That's the big conversations nowadays among commercial cleaning owners and managers, salespeople, and it's completely flipped around. But a big part of this is, even when we get leads, we got to close as many of them as possible and get them at the right margin, at the right price. You can sell jobs all day, every day, if at no profit, if you make prices super low. So that's easy to do. But to actually get it at the price you want, that's the hard part. So the next part is we're going to go over the three types of sales closes, and there's actually dozens of them. There might even be hundreds of them. I'm just trying to keep this direct and simple. There's the direct close, where you are just straightforward and ask for the sale, ask when we can start. If you're daily janitorial doing contract service, you might ask for starting dates, something along that line. Alternative close would be more implied, more indirect, where you would say, well, would you prefer that we start on the 5th or the 15th? Or would you prefer that we start on Monday or on Friday? Or depending on what service that you're providing. So you're just kind of assuming that they're going to buy, and you're just offering them options of when you're going to start. And the next one is the summary close. Summary is, we just summarize the conversation, the whole relationship, and then we ask for the business. We're just going to go over everything. And the summary close is good if you're submitting a proposal, especially if you're at someone's desk or a conference room and you have the proposal physically and you're going through it with them. Then the summary close is very effective. And this is really the main one I always did for contract work. One-time jobs or smaller jobs like carpet or tile cleaning, people usually don't go through that whole process. But for recurring type of work, contract work like commercial cleaning or janitorial or big commercial carpet, you're usually going to be at a desk or a conference room of some kind. And the big thing is, when you do ask to schedule or you ask for their business, is to shut up and listen. I know that seems kind of harsh, but often we don't give people enough time to think about things. And sometimes you might have to sit there for a couple minutes or even 5 or 10 minutes while they are going through your proposal, while they're thinking about it. They might even have to go and talk to their boss or a coworker real quick, and that's fine. You just don't add anything else, because we get nervous and we'll start adding things and dropping prices dramatically. Just because we're kind of in panic mode. We want to try to train ourselves out of that. So the next part is, well, how do we feel about sales? We should welcome objections. And the big thing is we should welcome them, because at least they're telling us something. A big challenge is whenever you are submitting a proposal to anybody for any reason, is they don't always tell you what's on their mind or what their situation is. They might have serious budget problems, and the company might be in serious trouble, and that's why. And they often don't tell you that kind of information, the inside baseball type of information. So that's why when people do express objections, it's a good thing, because at least it gives us some kind of insight into their thinking. So why do they occur? There's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes they legitimately have doubts about something that you said, something that's in your proposal. Maybe there's questions they have that you didn't answer yet. This is why we have a janitorial proposal template you should look up on our website, because it's comprehensive and it covers 12 different topics. So this one doesn't ever happen. You know, some people, some decision makers, as funny as it sounds, they don't like making decisions. A lot of people don't like making financial decisions, and they just keep kicking the can down the road, if you will. So we just have to give them a little reassurance that they're making a good decision. And the types of objections, some of them is open, like, well, you're too expensive, we can't afford it. Some of them can be like, well, someone gave us a bid and they proposed green detergents and we really like that. Well, that would be an easy answer. You could just say, yes, we do that too. We can include that. That is not a problem. We all have access to stuff like that. Sometimes a company will use that as their value proposition and act like it's exclusive when it's something that we all have access to. And you just want to let them know, oh, we can do that too. Now this one will depend on the service you're offering, a one-time bid or a janitorial, like a contract type of bid. I will need to get back to you. I have to throw this up the corporate ladder to my boss or whatever. And it is legitimate, because most managers do need to get an okay from somebody else, either the accounting department or their direct boss, their regional supervisor, somebody. So this is a legitimate question. Now, if you're dealing with an owner and it's like a one-time job, it might be a delaying tactic, and you could push them a little bit. Also be aware that some of them are rational, are perfectly rational. They make perfect sense. But some are irrational, and they make absolutely no sense. And in people, we are not always rational. We don't always make sense, and our reasoning is not always right. Excuses, and this is the person that doesn't want to make the decision. And it's really hard. The only thing you can do is keep reassuring that they're making a good decision, or offer some form of a guarantee so they have an out, because there's a certain percentage of managers that we will come across, or business owners, that they just don't like doing it, and they're going to keep kicking it further and further down the road. So what is a process for handling these objections? And this is just a process of practice. That's how we get better at anything. That's how we improve in anything, is just to keep practicing over and over and over again. And over time, you'll go on autopilot and you won't even think about this kind of stuff anymore. You'll just automatically do it. The first step is to keep calm and to take a deep breath, to relax. So when somebody raises an objection, not to take it personal and to automatically come back like a debate. Take a deep breath, listen to what they're saying, acknowledge what they're saying, maybe shake your head and I understand or okay. Categorize in what type of objection this is. Now this is happening in real time, so this happens quickly. And come back and clarify it. So when someone gives you an objection, reply, especially if it's a complicated one, reply it back to them, because we want to make sure we understand where they're coming from. A big challenge in dealing with people in general is misinterpretation. Sometimes we just misinterpret what somebody says, and we want to clarify. And just to make sure I understand where you're coming from, just to make sure, and then repeat what they said. Do you mean, you want to make sure you understand what they're saying. You didn't just listen to it and repeat. You want to repeat it back to them, because sometimes people will say something, quite honestly, that makes no sense. And then once you repeat it back to them, they'll say, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. And they'll realize once they hear it coming from somebody else's mouth that what they were asking for was ridiculous. So confirm. This is all the same process. We're confirming what we said. And the big thing is then to respond to it, whatever it is. If they're asking for a time changes, if they're asking for certain kind of detergents or equipment, you want to be able to respond and resolve the issue, and then ask for the order. That's the big part of it. This is a PowerPoint. You'll have to go on our website. The print is really small on this video, and that's disbelief. And to answer this and other objections, it's called feel, felt, and found. And it's very effective for dealing with objections without attacking people or coming off as adversarial. We don't want to be getting into a debate type of situation, and we have to try to disarm the situation. And that's why, that's why above we're saying to clarify what somebody says. We could say, well, I understand how you feel, Jane or Tanya or Mr. or Mrs. Other people have felt exactly the same way. When we first make contact, often companies will provide quotes that are a little bit cheaper than ours. We understand that business inflation is hitting all companies right now. However, what we found is because we've invested heavily in training and our equipment and our guarantee, however you want to, depending on the service you're providing, what they found is it's much more cost effective to pay a little more up front, because we solve problems long term. You won't have to replace your carpets as much. You'll get less complaints from your employees. Your employees will be happier. However, depending on the question that you're asking. And the whole point of this is, and this is the final part, the whole point of this is to make sure we're not coming off as negative. We're not getting in an argument with somebody, that we're trying to disarm the situation. I understand how you feel. A lot of other people have felt exactly the same way. We run into this question all the time. Those type of situations, that to not automatically flip back. Again, my name is Shane Dubell. Our company is methodcleanbiz.com. You can visit. I'll leave the link to this full presentation in the description of this video. If you want to go through the PowerPoints, there's a bunch of PowerPoints. And also, if you are interested in a marketing tactic for commercial businesses, one of our services is email marketing done for you. There's all kinds of hyper technical details with email marketing nowadays, and now we can do this all for you. Just click on the link and you can learn more.